Jacob Daffner, recovering addict, alcoholic. First time I ever tried yoga class, if you ever heard of Bikram yoga, I needed to pass a drug test, and I thought, it's 105 degrees, and you're just like profusely sweating, and I thought, maybe if I take this yoga class, I'll sweat it out and I'll pass my drug test, and took a yoga class. Didn't pass the drug test, but that was my first exposure to it. And then I kept going back to drugs and drinking. The yoga phased out. And a couple months later, after I took that first class, I checked into an inpatient rehab facility, and they did yoga every day there. So I kind of had this idea like, I've done yoga before and I kind of like it, but didn't really know what I was doing or what it was about. And so that's where I first got exposed to it, was in inpatient treatment. Well, what happened when I was in inpatient, they made you do yoga, right? Like every day pretty much. And it seemed confusing to me at first, but what I loved was that feeling I got at the end. And so that like peace, that calm, that clarity, serenity, all the things I never had in life, even before I started picking up and using. And it's my belief that that's one of the things that I sought through chemicals and substances, was to relax, to calm down, to relieve some of the anxiety, the stress, the fear. So then when I came to Phoenix, I started taking yoga regularly at a yoga studio every day. Like I didn't have anything. I didn't have a car, an ID, but there was a house bike at the sober living I lived at, and I'd bike there back and forth every single day and do yoga. And then it's probably like 6, maybe 9 months sober, and the studio announced that they were doing a teacher training. And I took that because the practice was helping me so much that I thought I could learn more about it, and it would help me even more if I knew more about what we were doing, and the breathing and the poses and the philosophy and the alignment. So I signed up for it and started. About halfway through, I realized like, oh my gosh, this would be really cool to do like as a vocation. Like I feel like I have a lot to give and to offer, and was picking up the material really quickly. And so that's when I kind of, about halfway through the teacher training, I was like, this is something I really want to do, and started teaching as soon as the training was done. My saying is, challenge the body, calm the mind, connect the spirit. And those are the 3 things that I get out of yoga. And a lot of times, like when I'm teaching at treatment centers or just regular yoga classes, but like here at First Step, I'll talk to people about how when we're in a pose, like we could come in with a whole bunch of energy, anxiety, anger, fear, depression, just spinning out. When we come in and we do yoga, whether it's really intense, like a really deep stretch, or it's a really challenging, hard, strong pose, as we're doing those postures, it grabs our attention. And so that's kind of the really surface level of it for me. So if I'm holding a pose that's really challenging, I'm thinking about like how this pose sucks, and how like my thighs are burning and my core is engaged and my arms are long and I just want to drop. And even though that stuff isn't like comfortable and relaxing all the time, some of it is, but even though it's not comfortable and relaxing, just like life is sometimes, I'm not thinking about whatever the hell I came into the room with. And that's kind of the basics for me. And then the more focused I am on what I'm doing, so whether it's with my body or my breath, and that's the 2 things in yoga, are using your body and using your breathing, so both of which, the sensation we're feeling and the breath, are happening in this moment. And so that's kind of my view on it, is the more we think about the breath and the body, the less we think about stress, worry, regret, future tripping, the less we think about anything else other than what's happening right here, which is that we're moving and we're breathing, even if it's challenging. So, and then to kind of take it that step further, so once I kind of clear out whatever's going on in my head before I come to the mat, then I get that peace, that calm, that clarity, and then I can allow something else to come in. And whatever people's individual beliefs are, it's up to them. But for me, I like to think that I kind of clear out me, my stress, my worry, my anger, and then there's this void, and then I let something else in, whether you want to call that higher power, God, spirituality, connection to other people. I don't think it really matters what you call it, but it makes space for something good to come in and replace what's not so good. It's the best thing that I do in my life. It's awesome. One, it's like I get to see something that happened to me happen in somebody else, and I play a small role, but a piece in creating that experience for them. My belief is it's not like I'm doing it to them, but I'm just creating the space where then they can have that experience. And I mean, it happens like on a daily basis, every single week. More places than not, we get people that come in that have zero exposure to yoga, and a lot of times people that come in and they have some conception of what yoga is, and it's about touching the toe to your back of your head, standing on a mountainside, and they have these like preconceptions about it or skepticism toward it. And then they give it a shot, and that's like all I ask. I'm like, listen, you don't have to do everything we do. You just got to try. And it's very similar to recovery in that sense. You just got to put in your 100%, and you'll get the benefit from it. And half the time at the end of class, after we do like shavasana, which is just you lie down, close your eyes, breathe, meditation, people come out of it, and it happens to me to this day, and it happens to people that practice all the time, but especially with people that are brand new, they come out of it and like they're like awesome. They're like, I don't know what just happened, and they try to explain it to me, and they're like, I've never felt like this before. Like, I'm really calm. My body felt really light, and I'm like, dude, I get it, And that's where it's a recovery tool, right? The physical stuff is awesome. I call that the side effect. It's a really great side effect to be stronger, more flexible, less pain, stiffness, tightness. It helps detoxify the body. All that's awesome. But the main effect is what happens mentally and spiritually, if spirituality is a thing for you. And so to see that happen in people, especially when they're early in recovery, that's where I tell them, like, this is so much more than just a way to move your body, stretch, strengthen, but it's like a relapse prevention tool. If we have tools that can help us be still, be calm, even if things are challenging, demanding, intense, uncomfortable, stressful, we can just be, and even if you skipped half the poses for the length of the class, you stayed in one place on your mat without needing to run, act out, behave in another unhealthy way. Because I grew up with so much shame, and so much lack of self-worth and passion and purpose, and just totally aimless. And so it really surprised me to kind of realize that I have something to offer to other people. So I think if you were gonna, the way you phrased that, like what was most surprising for me as a yoga teacher, that was probably it for me. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm good, right? I'm enough. And I have something of value that can help other people struggling with the same thing that I've gone through.